Hi, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean, this is Woodwork Journey, and today is the penultimate episode of the Tech Week series that I've been doing. So today is also going to be on a 3D printer, but it's an extension from the video I did at the start of the week, and this is with an even easier 3D printer. So if it's something that you want to get into and you don't want to be messing around with things at all, then I may have a solution for you on this one. So stick with me and we'll be looking through the Ankermake M5C, and if you're unsure how it applies to workshops, go back to the other video and I'll link that in the description as well. Let's get into it. As I said, this one is all about the Ankermake M5C, and as it is now 9.3 degrees in the workshop, I figured that we're going to go inside to check this one out. And also two other reasons. One, as winter comes along, a lot of us don't want to be in the workshop all the time, so we could go and still create and make stuff for the workshop, but from inside the house. So this is going to help you with that one. But also the 3D printers generally don't like being in super cold weather, and so this one, I think like many of them, don't like going below 15 degrees, and it's clearly below that here. So next shot should be in the office. And here we are back inside. So it's a little bit of a different look for a woodworking channel, but go with it. So this right here, and I will give you a close-up of it in a little while, is the Ankermake M5C. Now it's a relatively new 3D printer on the market, and it's different to a lot of printers. This screen that you see in the front here, this isn't part of the Ankermake. This is an old mobile phone, and I'm using it to control the Ankermake, and I'm using some free software called Alfred to use as a camera so I can monitor its printing from other rooms or wherever I am in the world. Obviously I never leave the house, but you know what I mean. So you can always see exactly how far the print's got and all that sort of nonsense. So yeah, I'm going to show you about this one, show you about my setup, and I will tell you the advantages to having this. Now I must warn you that this printer is designed for beginners, I think, but it's also invaluable if you value your time, because I have done there is pretty much no setup involved with this particular printer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. What we've got here then is the Ankermake M5C. Now they had an M5 out before that, and the way you can tell it's different is because the M5 had a big screen over on that right hand side. Yeah, this, as I say, is designed for beginners, but also is phenomenal if you are used to 3D printing and just want an easier life. So I've got a few things on the build plate that I'll show you in a moment, but we've got the hot end. It's an all metal hot end in there, although there is a brass nozzle. It's all metal, so that helps you really be able to push the temperatures depending on what filament that you're using, because you can use multiple filaments. You can even use a filament that has a high percentage of wood in it, and I believe some of them will actually accept wood stains as well, which is nuts. But there's no screens, as you can see on the whole thing. We've got a controller going on here. That's the head unit that moves along. We've got the cross gantry that goes across there. The table moves backwards and forwards like I showed you in the previous video. This moves up and down, and the head moves side to side as well. So the structure of it with regards to how it works, the same as I showed you in the other video. However, this literally there's nothing to it. Let me show you the bits and bobs that I've made first off. I'm going to show you the bits and bobs that I've made, but I'll also show you a couple of pictures right now of the workshop stuff that I've made, because things like the Y piece, the 100mm Y piece for my dust collection, pretty much maxed out this printer, and it did a phenomenal job. No supports, nothing going on. It just printed it and it worked really, really well. I've also done a cyclone on here. I've done a whole bunch of big stuff, and the great thing about this printer is it prints so quickly if you want it to, that if you've got an idea or you need something in a hurry, this is significantly quicker than the previous one that I showed you. Here's a few things that I've printed. This was a Benchy. Now, if you're a 3D printer already, you know what a Benchy is. This was printed in 17 minutes. And I'll try and take some sort of macro pictures or something to show you it, because I know yellow doesn't really show everything. But the fact that this was printed in fast mode is excellent. I think it's a solid quality for something that was printed in the quick mode rather than the precision mode. So, like I say, 17 minutes to print that bad boy. When it came to Halloween, I made these little puppies for the wife, these little ghosties. The legs are removable, and yeah, I'll try and leave links to all of these in the description as well. But these ghosts, I think there's like, I don't know, 27 different faces or something like that that you can have on them. But I just thought they were super cute, and like I said, the legs just pull out, and they're printed in what's called vase mode. So yeah, super easy. Everyone's a winner. The thing that kind of blows people away a little bit, and it does me still, I think it's magic, is the fact that this dragon right here that I'm going to show you was printed as it is on the build plate. More or less, it was just kind of up there a little bit, but it was printed all in one go, everything like that. But it's articulating. So each of these individual sections was printed, but because of the way a 3D printer works when it comes to layering through things, yeah, it prints and it's movable, and there's loads of kind of articulated and moving beasties and things and stuff that you can make. But what it means is, yes, this is a cute little dragon, but it means that you can make things that move. So whether you're looking at jigs or whatever else, you can design something very easily that you can print in place, and you don't have to snap together, you don't have to worry about tolerances and all that sort of nonsense, because it'll work because it's printed in a way to make it work. But I mean, how does something like that get printed in one go? It's nuts, isn't it? As with a lot of printers though, there is a filament holder at the top there, and that runs down through this tube. The filament runs through the tube. The tube goes into the printing head right here. In there is your fans and all that sort of stuff, as well as your all metal hot end. And there's also a clutch there, so when you're feeding filament in to help it grab, you just press that down, feed it in, and jobs are good, and couldn't be any easier. On this side, we have the only button that's on the entire machine, and that's this big play button. It can do a whole bunch of things. It can pause a print, start a print, reprint whatever you've had on last, a whole bunch of things. But it's just a singular button, and that's literally the only thing you have to worry about. Aside from that, on the build plate, that is removable once again, and you can see that there's nothing really that you have to adjust. There isn't any putting this stuff together. It just happens. The only thing that you have to do is screw the gantry into the base. A couple of nice touches, and I'm sure other 3D printers have done this, but I haven't seen it before, is these little corners. So because this is a magnetic plate, so if you do that, it sort of sticks everything down. You can push that into the corners there, and then it's all squared up, which you can't do on the other one, and that just makes life, it's one of them little things, it just makes life really easy. It also comes with an Ankermake toolkit as well, and I kept forgetting about this, and it has all of the bits and bobs that you'll need to be doing stuff with your printer. There is an extra nozzle there, you've got a spanner to remove the nozzle, you've got this kind of socket unit to remove nozzles with, which is really helpful. Yeah, it's jolly excellent. In use though, I've just got this little bottle that I got off Amazon, and it's got some isopropyl alcohol in it, and before I print I give it a couple of sprays, use a foam Brillo pad, clean up the base like so, and then we're good to print. I thought I was recording and I wasn't. I'd explained all of this, started a print off, and then realised that I wasn't recording, so I had to stop the whole thing. Anyway, let's get to this one. So, quickly showing you the app. The app is on this phone. What I can do is I can go across to Alfred Camera, which is the one that I told you about before, which is not Anker related, but it just means that it's a free kind of secure camera security device that you can put on any phone, on any platform, and it just means you can monitor things from when you're not close to them. Going back to the Ankermake stuff though, I'm in the Ankermake app at the moment, which obviously you download. Super easy to connect up. You need to create an account on here, and then you take a photograph of a QR code that's on the back of the printer, and that connects everything up. Job is a good one. You can increase or update software and what have you through the app as well. Super easy, no stresses. Now then, with the app itself, we've got its status, so what's going on with it. There's a whole bunch of things we can look at with regards to temperatures of stuff. We'll look at those in a moment. Z offset, now this is the only thing that I had to change. There's plenty of information online about it, but my Z offset is, or Z offset because I'm English, is 0.05 millimeters, and that's just how far up or down the nozzle is when you start printing. But yeah, 0.05. Now then, when it comes to the controls, we've got the movement, so we can move in 1, 10, 20 or 50 millimeter increments. If we go 50, and we'll go click on the up there. Before moving on the axis, you need to perform homing. Do you want to do it now? Yep. So what's going to happen now is the printer is just going to move around, and it's doing this as a security action, because if I force this to do something that's going to make it go through the build plate or something daft like that, then it's going to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, if we do the Z axis, move that up, I've got movement in 50 millimeter increments, so it's moving up nice and quickly, as you can see there. We can move it side to side. And we can move the build plate as well. So, you know, we've got all the controls we need, but they're all on the app, which just makes life easier. You don't have to use a secondary phone to do this. I've just done it because why not? I had this old thing kicking around. This is an old Google Pixel 3, the cheap one, and so you can pick these up for like 50 quid. So if I can use it as a security camera and to control the printer, crack on. But let's figure out a little bit more about this app. We've got all of the controls and what have you, but if we go into Explore, this gives us all of the models that are on the Ankermake side of things, which is allowing us to go into fast mode and all sorts of stuff. There's no input needed with regards to slicing and all that sort of nonsense. This is just doing exactly what you tell it to do. So you look at these and go, yeah, I want one of those, and it'll print away. And actually, we've got the 17-minute 40 seconds benches there. That's exactly what I printed before, and that's what this benchy was. This is 17-minute 40 seconds, although mine actually came out quicker than that. But what I'm going to do now is we'll choose something. We'll choose something fun. I don't know what we got. Get this little guy. This is a little hinged miniature skull. Oh, it says skull, but it's actually a skeleton. And all we're going to do, that's what we want. We're going to press print. One thing that I should tell you before we do that, though, is right on the top there, you've got search. And when you go into the search basis, it then searches both the Ankermake M5C database, but it also searches the printables database as well. So we've got Ankermake and printables, and there's over thousands of things on printables that you can choose from. 237,508 in fact. So all you've got to do is, if you search say Woodwork tool, and then we go at it, then that'll come up to give us just loads and loads of models that other people have come up with that we can just print away if we want to. This little guy right here, we're going to do this, and I'm going to print this, and we can choose the printer, which is the one that we've got. It's going to take 1 hour and 14 minutes, use 33 grams of filament, and the speed is going to be 500 millimeters a second. Now, when it comes to the speed on this, 500 millimeters a second is the high-speed printing side of things, but also the extrusion flow is 35 millimeters per second, or can go up to. You have got up to 0.1 of a millimeter preciseness when it comes to sorting everything out, and like I say, everything's automatic, no leveling, no messing around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press print. I've cleaned the build plate already, and so you hear the beep as that's downloading the model. Once it's downloading the model, or once it's downloaded the model, it'll push it across to the 3D printer, all wirelessly. I've only got this plugged in because it's charging, and I will increase the height on the tripod here, because then I can angle you down and hopefully you'll be able to see the all-important first layer, which lets us know whether the print is going to be a success or not. Okay, so the app has now just told us that it's going to take 1 hour and 14 minutes. Actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. If I move that there. But 1 hour and 14 minutes. It's then telling us the temperatures of where the machine is at currently. So it's heating up, so the nozzle is going to get to 230 degrees centigrade, and the heat bed, or the bed, is going to get to 65 degrees centigrade. And once that's happened, that will start printing. You may be able to see that the little Ankermake M is going in different colours at the minute, just to show that it's processing. It's warming up, it's getting things together. So we're now at 229 on the nozzle, so we're pretty much there. The heat bed is 56 and will shortly be at the 65, and then it will give us it'll do its own height checking to make sure that it's leveling, so it levels everything out, which is something a lot of printers expect you to do yourself. And then once it's done all that, it will start printing. So I might fast forward bits of this and you'll see it moving around and doing some bits and bobs. But the first thing it'll do is it'll run along the front here just to scrape off any filament that's stuck on the end of the nozzle. Then it'll go around, it'll measure everything out, it'll make sure that it's level, and then it will lay down that first print. So I'll fast forward right up to the point of getting that first print done. So I'll fast forward right up to the point of getting that first layer on, and then after that I'll stop recording and we'll come back to it when it's all done and dusted. There, it's getting rid of any excess filament that's stuck to the nozzle from the last use. Now what's happening is it's starting to just let a small run of filament come out to make sure that there isn't anything unpleasant going on, and now we're getting into that all-important first layer. If your first layer doesn't adhere to the print bed, then your print will go tits. So at this point, if anything goes wrong, it's a good idea to keep an eye on it, but if anything goes wrong, then you need to stop it and just maybe recalibrate or something like that. I'll try and move the camera in so you can see a little bit more of what it's doing. Like I said, I might do fast forwards and stuff, but I want to try and keep it in one go so you can see in real time what it actually looks like when it's actually doing what it should do, you know. With this print, I will just say there's a chance I may run out of filament because I don't have a great deal on this roll. But one of the great things about this is that it will detect if it runs out of filament, and it will stop, it will pause everything so I can feed in new filament, and then it'll just carry on. I'm hoping I'll be able to zoom in where you can see the kind of the elbow and shoulder joints, so you can see how they're starting to take shape, even though it's all printing in place. Okay, so that seems to be going down lovely. So what I'll do now is I'll see if I can get the iPhone that I'm recording on to do a time lapse, and then yeah, we'll come back in 1 hour and 11 minutes. And as we can see, that's now finished. I don't know if you can see down here, but the print time was 1 hour and 29 minutes and 55 seconds, and it did use 33 grams of filament. And there you go. So now, when we pick this bad boy up, like I say, let me just show you that that's exactly how it's printed. Now picking it up. Look at that little fella. Little bit of a clean up there, but we've got arms that articulate. We've got a body that's basically in a big hook situation, and I reckon he will stand up as well. Would you look at that? Now, is this going to help your woodworking? No, but it was just to show you how this worked. And the quality of this print is not too shabby. I'm okay with that. Considering it was printing quick again, that'll do for me. Ankermake did send this to me, but I'm under no obligation. I'm not being paid. I'm not under any obligation to say nice things. And if I didn't like it, then I would tell you that I don't like it. However, I have printed so much stuff on here. It's the speed of it, its accuracy, the fact that I don't have to level the bed, the fact that it just sorts itself out. Fantastic. I am game on for it. I only use the other printer for stuff if I need two printers going at the same time. But this one is markedly quicker. Now, you can get into the slicing software and make other printers quick as well, but not as quick as this. It's a whole thing. It's a whole sort of technical aspect to it. But the main thing is with this one, you just don't need to, and that makes life so much better. Now, I will do a quick video, hopefully I can fit it into Tech Week, but I will do a quick video about software and how you move something from a design that you've made into what's called the slicing software, and then how we can get it directly to this. I will show you that one, but for the moment, this Ankermake M5C retails for, I can't remember exactly how much it is, to be honest with you, but it is more expensive at £400 currently, and on Black Friday on Amazon right at this moment in time it is £400, I think. I will put a link down in the description below. Now, there is one on Amazon that looks like it's French, but when you click on it, it still says the Ankermake store, and that is sort of $329 or $350, something like that. I can't remember. It is cheaper, so I will link down to that as well. There will be affiliate links. I'll also link to the Ankermake website as well, so you can see all of the specs and what have you there. But if you want to try it out, that'll tell you more about it. But like I said, it's more expensive than the last one, but there is no thinking about this. The only thing that I've had that's been a bit of a pain in the bum is that I had filament snap in the middle of this black tube, and I had to sort of fanny around to fish it out. But other than that, I've not had any problems with this whatsoever, and it's just made 3D printing an absolute pleasure for me. So there you go. Let me know what you think. Have you got one? Have you think about get one? Do you think the extra speed is useful for you? I mean, you know, what do you make with yours? I still maintain there are a million great things that you can make with a 3D printer that help you in the workshop. And like we did today, when it's a bit nippy on the outside, you can always come inside and still make stuff, which always makes me happy. Right, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I've got some chocolate to go and eat because it's Saturday night, and I'll see you very, very soon. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.